Nik Bonitto.
And that one is intercepted! Oh. It's Bonitto!
Zachary Allen.
He's in trouble, and they got him! Zach Allen finally able to get to C.J. Stroud.
Courtland Sutton.
Nix throws it. What a catch. Sutton.
Pat Surtain.
Is there anybody in the league right now that you just really respect?
Pat Surtain. Took the words out of my mouth. Pat Surtain.
Bo Nix.
When the games get big, Bo raises his game. That's what he do.
The 2025 Denver Broncos are the real deal. Top of the AFC, the future has arrived at Mile High. They're no longer an exciting group of youngsters. They're Super Bowl contenders, coached by some of the best in the game on both sides of the ball. Unlike seasons prior, these Broncos will grind out tough games, coming out on top more often than not, with their eyes firmly trained on Lombardi number 4. It's been nearly a decade since they looked this good, but it's time we all admit, the NFL has a Denver Broncos problem again. And it all starts with their defense. Patrick Surtain is the headliner as one of the most electrifying defensive playmakers in the league. A pure technician, one of the smoothest corners in coverage of his generation, effectively a star from the second he stepped foot in the league as the 9th overall pick 4 years ago. This was solidified by his Defensive Player of the Year campaign last season, as he was truly indomitable. The crazy part is, this Broncos defense has played lights out even in Surtain's absence following a pec strain in Week 8. On top of that, the team's leading tackler, Alex Singleton, has also missed significant time following an operation to remove a cancerous testicular tumor, but again, the defense hasn't missed a beat. Vance Joseph's unit is so dialed in that without two of its most important pieces, they are still comfortably a top 3 defense. Why? There is literally no exploitable weakness in this group. We've already spoken about Pat Surtain, but instead of bombarding you with his PFF grades or random stats, we trust that you've got a solid idea of how good he is. Instead, we're going to focus on the rest of this secondary. One man who is suffering from Surtain's success is cornerback 2 Riley Moss, who sees an unreal target share as opponents refuse to throw in PS2's direction. Moss saw a fair amount of hate for pass interference calls in 2025, but when you're called upon to perform as often as he is, that is completely understandable. And wouldn't you know it, he's significantly better than anyone on the internet has been giving him credit for. According to Next Gen Stats, as of November 4th, Riley Moss is allowing the lowest completion percentage, 44.4%, in the NFL. Yet, he's facing more targets than any other defender at 63. Moss is a lot better than he's given credit for by fans. His peers, namely some of the best young corners in the league in Terrion Arnold, Christian Gonzalez, and of course Surtain, publicly backed the Broncos CB2.
I ain't gonna lie, go kill on the tape with Riley, boy.
Yeah, he been hooping.
Riley hard.
Nah, Riley balling, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I think they racial profiling my dog, though, man. They calling all these flags on my boy, man. I ain't gonna lie, the flags is egregious, bro. You don't understand, bro. He had a rep.
I'll trust them over randoms on Twitter. And even Jaquan McMillan, Denver's nickel corner, has been having an insane season. His best game came under the brightest lights, as he grabbed a pivotal pick on Pat Mahomes and also sacked the Chiefs QB twice in Denver's epic 22-19 victory. So, with some of the best cornerback play in the league, and an elite safety duo in front of them in Talanoa Hufanga and Brandon Jones, Denver allowing a league-low 9 passing TDs through 11 games comes as no surprise. The pass rush is also historically good. Last season, they set a franchise record with 63 sacks, a mark which they could surpass at their current pace, with 49 through 11 games. The edge rush trio of Nik Bonitto, Zach Allen, and Jonathan Cooper will rightfully get a lot of the credit. The first two were second-team All-Pro last season, and this year have already combined for 15.5 sacks. Bonitto is the standout, with his 21% edge rush win rate ranking 6th best in the NFL. They're good, and they know it. After beating Houston at their own game in Week 9, Jonathan Cooper was asked,
"There was so much talk about how good the Texans defense was. Did that motivate you guys to, hey, don't forget about us?"
I don't think anybody really forgot about us. But yeah, they talk about their defense, but I think we have the best defense in the league.
That's all well and good, but the interior of this front deserves its flowers as well. namely John Franklin Myers, who has been a wrecking ball at the line of scrimmage. He already has 4.5 sacks on the year, and his 9% pass block win rate is top 20 among all defensive tackles in the league. For all of the talent they have, Vance Joseph's scheme, and most importantly, leadership, have played a huge role in making this defense what it is. He's been in his post as defensive coordinator since 2023, rehabilitating his reputation after a rough head coaching stint in Denver from 2017 to 2019. In his second stint at Mile High, he's developed edge rushers like Nik Bonitto and Zach Allen into all-pro talent, centerpieces of the league's most fearsome defense. The havoc that front wreaks on everyone allows the rest of the defense to work like a well-oiled machine in coverage, as Joseph himself explained, with what we call, we're giving the player one side of the route, and we preach leverage. If you win your leverage outside and the receiver breaks inside, you're gonna have a teammate there. It can look like man, but it's not man. That's the beauty of what we do. That's the secret. But this defense is also 8th in run stop win rate, meaning they aren't susceptible to ground and pound tactics either. In fact, they're near identical negative 0.1 EPA per pass and negative 0.09 EPA per rush point to the well-balanced nature of this defense. To make that stat more digestible, let me put it this way. Whether the opposing offense dials up a pass or a run play, they are equally unlikely to score against this Denver defense. Now that is what true dominance looks like on the defensive side of the ball. According to Rex Ryan, these kinds of performances had been a long time coming.
When Sean Payton took this job, all right, was he scared of Andy Reid? He could have gone anywhere. No, he's like, nah, I'll go against the best. All right, why? He had a vision for this football team. This is what it was going to look like. And it started with building a tremendous defense. I already had a good one from Vic Fangio. Everything, the pieces were already in place. He just added to it. And to me right now, when you walk into a stadium knowing you have the best unit on the field and that's your defense, you don't care who the hell you play.
Denver's defense is playing this good, and they'll be getting back 2 of their best players in Surtain and Singleton before the season is over. So even better days lie ahead. Now, I think we've spent enough time talking about this defense and how fantastic they are, because one of the most prevalent media narratives around this team is that their defense is the only reason they win games. The offense is often written off as something of a liability. Obviously, Sean Payton's men have struggled at times, especially at the beginning of games. For reference, a Will Lutz field goal against KC in Week 11 was the first time that Denver scored any points on their opening drive since Week 2. Instead, their calling card has been late comebacks. It all started against the reigning Super Bowl champs in Philly, where they flipped a 17-3 Eagles lead into a 21-17 victory all in the fourth quarter. 2 weeks later, against the Giants, Denver went into the fourth quarter down 19-0, only to win a 33-32 thriller at the death. 2 weeks after that, another walk-off field goal sealed yet another fourth quarter comeback against the Texans, before they repeated the feat in Week 11 against the division rival Chiefs, outlasting the reigning AFC champs. Bo Nix has been a significantly less efficient passer this season, with a lower passer rating and completion percentage than he had as a rookie. The offense has looked stale and in some cases been carried by the defense. Narrow wins over the Jets and Raiders have critics pointing to the fact that Nix always seems to play down to the level of his opposition. The flip side of that is that Nix has done a fantastic job of not losing the Broncos games, despite leading the league in pass attempts through 11 weeks, registering the lowest sack percentage of any starting QB. In fact, in many cases, he has played up to the level of his opposition as well. J.K. Dobbins was averaging 5 yards per carry before his season was cut short in Week 10, meaning Nix had no run game to speak of against the Chiefs in Week 11, and still led the team to victory by carving apart Steve Spagnuolo's defense. In each one of those fourth quarter comebacks, he's been ruthlessly efficient. The numbers don't lie. He leads the league in game-winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks. Even if it isn't always pretty, they keep stacking wins. When Nix's play was criticized after the win against KC, Sean Payton had this to say.
Bo, especially on that last drive at the one to Sutton. And then
it's outstanding.
How did he perform tonight, kind of in a big
I
moment?
think real well. He won. That's his job. He won.
Outsiders are keen to hate on Nix for winning, But everyone around the Broncos organization keeps laughing their way to the AFC 1 seed. And even if the performances aren't all there yet on this offense, the consistent winning will help them get there. As future Hall of Famer Jason Kelce explained,
and winning is a skill, right? Every time you do it, you're honing that skill.
Yes.
And you're seeing two polar opposites now where the Chiefs are losing all these close games. The Broncos, Bo Nix is becoming a different quarterback when that's on the line, and their team is finding a way to get it done. Now,
this is absolutely the case for these Denver Broncos. Outside of Courtland Sutton, injuries have depleted their offensive weapons such that they are having to rely on rookies like RJ Harvey and Pat Bryant, as well as second-year receiver Troy Franklin, to take huge steps forward. They do benefit from having one of the best offensive lines in football. Just like the defense, they are strong in both the run and pass game. Their 13 sacks allowed are the second fewest in the league, while their average of 0.96 yards before contact is top 10. Even with starting guard Alex Powers recovering from surgery, Alex Palchevsky has filled in brilliantly. The short of it is that Nix has the protection to be playing far more consistent football than he has to this point. Broncos fans would certainly appreciate fewer one-score games, but so long as this offense hits its stride in time for the playoffs, we're doubtful we'll hear too many more complaints. Rather than fixate on the slow starts, it's worth giving credit where it's due. Bo Nix definitely has the clutch gene. So, with what could be a historically good defense and an offense that has proven time and time again that it will show up when called upon, the Denver Broncos are looking like a serious problem for the first time since Peyton Manning last laced them up. They're atop a brutal AFC, have already dethroned KC in the West after almost a decade of Chiefs hegemony. These are exciting times at Mile High. Furthermore, this team is still super young, with their biggest playmakers like Bonitto, Allen, and Sutton all locked down on long-term deals this past summer. The coaching staff has a championship pedigree, already demonstrating a propensity for developing talent better than almost anyone else in pro football. That is to say that 2025 could well be the first of many more AFC West titles for these Sean Payton-led Denver Broncos. But what do you think? Will the offense catch fire in time for the postseason, or will they get blown out like they were in 2024? Let us know in the comments.